Welcome back to the Study Shelf. You guys wanted us to do a deep dive on George Orwell's Animal Farm.
Ah, Animal Farm.
Yeah,
It's
so
great.
such a great choice.
Let's get right into it. I mean, I think a lot of people, they're familiar with it, even if they maybe haven't read it, maybe from school or just from
Yeah.
hearing about it. So it's about this group of animals, right?
Yes.
They basically decide, we're done with the humans. We're going to run this farm ourselves.
They overthrow their human oppressors, yeah.
And it seems like a pretty good idea, right? Like,
Yeah. It's a utopia. It's an animal utopia.
yeah, all animals are equal. Yeah.
Yeah. So
No more
Jack.
exploitation. But as we know, things don't always go quite as planned.
Well, and that's what's so brilliant about this book, right? I mean, on the surface, it's like, oh, this fun little fable with talking animals.
Right.
But underneath that, Orwell is dealing with these huge, really complex ideas about power, revolution, and how even the best intentions can go.
Totally wrong.
So wrong.
Yeah.
So let's start at the beginning. We're on Manor Farm. The animals are miserable, they're overworked, they're mistreated.
Right. And Mr. Jones, the farmer.
Oh, he is not a good guy.
No, not a great guy. He's neglectful. He's often drunk. He doesn't care about
The
animals at all, yeah. So it's really no surprise that they're ready for a change.
And that's where Old Major comes in.
Old Major, this is the pig, right?
This is a visionary pig.
The visionary pig, the one who kind of sets everything in motion.
Exactly. He gives this incredibly powerful speech about animal liberation.
It's so key to the whole story.
I mean, you can just imagine, right? Like these
Yeah.
animals, they're tired,
They're desperate.
they're
Yeah.
hungry, they're desperate, and they hear this message of hope.
Right, of a better future where they're in control of their own destiny.
Exactly.
They're more humans.
And then that song, Beasts of England.
Oh, Beasts of England. It's so catchy.
It's so powerful. It's their anthem.
Yeah, it really captures that early sense of hope and unity that the animals feel.
Right. Like they really believe that this time it's going to be different.
Yeah, they're all in it together. It's almost like, I don't know, I always find it kind of sad when I think about
Sure.
what happens later, because in the beginning they're so optimistic.
So full of hope.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and they do achieve their revolution.
They do. They drive out Mr. Jones.
Yeah, they chase him right off the farm, establish Animal Farm.
And those 7 commandments of animalism that they write on the barn, I mean,
Lucky.
it's like their constitution, their guiding principles.
All animals are equal, right?
Right.
That's the big one.
But, you know, as with most revolutions, the cracks start to show pretty quickly.
And the pigs start to take charge, which, I mean, they are the brains of the operation, right?
Well, that's what they say. They're definitely, they're clever.
Clever, yeah.
They're good at organizing.
And you've got these two distinct personalities, right?
Oh, Snowball?
Snowball, yeah.
An idealist.
The ideals, he's full of ideas. He wants progress.
Wants to modernize everything, yeah.
And then there's Napoleon. Now, Napoleon's a different story.
Napoleon, he's a little more, shall we say, ambitious? A little less?
Yeah, more on the cunning side.
Yeah, exactly.
And you start to see these little things like the cow's milk disappears.
The milk, yeah. Where'd that go?
Yeah, and the pigs are always the ones getting the apples.
Yeah, those are definitely some early warning signs that maybe everything is not as equal as it seems.
Right, like maybe some animals are becoming more equal than others.
Exactly, exactly. And Orwell does such a great job of kind of foreshadowing the trouble to come.
Oh, for sure. And all of this comes to a head with the whole windmill debate.
Ah, the windmill. Yes.
The Snowball, he wants to build this windmill, right? And he promises electricity, a 3-day work week.
Oh, luxury.
Right. I mean, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But Napoleon, he's completely against it.
Yeah, he's all about, practical matters, food production, maintaining order.
Right.
But I think there's something else going on there, too.
I think so, too. I think he sees this windmill as a threat to his power.
Yes, exactly. Because if Snowball gets his way, he'll be the hero. He'll be the one who brought all this progress to the farm.
And Napoleon can't have that.
No, he can't have that.
And that's where his little side project comes in. Those trained attack dogs he's been raising.
Yeah.
And he unleashes them on Snowball, chases him right off the farm.
Oh, wow.
And that's, I think, the real turning point in the story.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the moment when any pretense of democracy, of the animals actually having a say, it's just gone.
It's gone.
From that point on, it's Napoleon's way or the highway. Literally, in Snowball's case.
Yeah.
He's gone.
He is gone off,
Packs the farm.
off to who knows where.
Who knows where, yeah. And you know what's really interesting is how quickly things change on the farm after Snowdall's gone?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it happens really fast.
It's like overnight almost.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden those Sunday meetings, the ones where the animals used to debate and vote on things,
Right.
they're just abolished,
Right.
gone. And then Napoleon, he sets up this special committee,
Oh, the pigs only.
pigs only, of course. And those dogs, you remember those dogs?
Oh, yeah, Napoleon's little bodyguards.
Well, they're not puppies anymore. Now they're big, they're mean, and they're totally loyal to Napoleon.
They're basically his enforcers. Right?
Exactly. It creates this whole atmosphere of fear.
Nobody wants to speak out against Napoleon now.
Nobody dares. And then you've got Squealer.
Oh, Squeal.
Oh, Squealer, he's the master of propaganda.
Oh, he's good. He can spin anything to make it sound like it's for the animal's own good.
He's a master manipulator. He doesn't just lie. He, distorts things, rewrites history.
Makes Snowball into this public enemy #1.
Exactly. Snowball is the scapegoat for everything that goes wrong.
It's scary how effective it is. The other animals, they just start to believe it.
Well, they're constantly bombarded with this propaganda. And they're afraid, they don't want to end up like
the ones who get executed. That whole scene with the confessions and the executions.
No, it's chill.
I mean, it's clearly a show trial, right? These animals are being forced to confess to crimes they didn't commit.
And then they're slaughtered right there in front of everyone.
It's brutal.
It's a way to terrorize the other animals into submission.
It's so reminiscent of, what happened in real life dictatorship.
Oh, absolutely. The purges, the show trials, the silencing of dissent.
It's a classic playbook.
And those 7 commandments, remember those?
All animals are equal, and all that.
Yeah, well, let's just say they become a little more flexible under Napoleon's rule.
Yeah, more like suggestions, really.
That one about killing, no animal shall kill any other animal.
Right.
Suddenly it has this little addendum, without cause.
Oh, yeah.
Very convenient for Napoleon.
Right, because now he can eliminate anyone he sees as a threat and just say, well, they had it coming.
Exactly. And the other animals, they're so caught up in this fear, they don't even question it.
And it's not just the commandments that change. The pigs themselves, they start acting more and more like...
humans.
Yeah, like the very humans they rebelled against.
It starts subtly, with little things.
Like taking the milk and apples.
Right. But then it escalates. They start wearing clothes, drinking whiskey, sleeping in beds.
All the things he used to say were bad.
Yeah, it's like they've completely forgotten the principles of the revolution.
It's like power has corrupted them.
Absolutely. Orwell is showing us how power can change people, how it can make them greedy, selfish.
And how it can make them forget where they came from.
Exactly. They've become the very thing they fought against.
And poor Boxer, his fate is just, I don't know, it's just so...
Tragic.
Tragic, yeah. I mean, he's this loyal, hardworking cart horse.
The most dedicated animal on the farm.
Always putting in the extra effort. Napoleon is always right. That's his motto. And he just works himself to death.
Literally.
For the cause. And what do the pigs do?
Send him off to the glue factory to be slaughtered. And then Squealer comes in and tells everyone that Boxer died peacefully in the hospital.
Like they were giving him the best care.
Yeah, another lie to cover up their cruelty.
It's just heartbreaking. Boxer, who represents everything good about the revolution, is just discarded when he's no longer useful.
That's how totalitarian regimes operate. They exploit the loyal and the hardworking and then dispose of them when they're no longer needed.
That scene where they load Boxer into that van marked horse slaughterer, I mean, come on.
It's gut-wrenching.
It's like a punch in the stomach.
It's a reminder that in this so-called utopia, there's a dark underbelly of cruelty and exploitation.
And by the end, when the pigs are walking on 2 legs and the sheep are chanting, 4 legs good, 2 legs better.
Oh, man.
It's like a complete reversal of everything they stood for in the beginning.
Full circle. The animals are right back where they started, only now it's even worse.
Because now they have no hope of change.
They've been completely crushed by the system they helped create.
It's a pretty bleak ending.
It is. But it's also a powerful warning. I mean, it really makes you think, what was the point of it all?
Right. If they just end up back under the thumb of another oppressor.
Exactly. Was that brief taste of freedom, was it even worth it?
It's tough, right? Because on the one hand, they were so hopeful in the beginning.
They believed they could create something better, a truly equal society.
And they did for a while, right? At least some of the animals did.
Yeah, there was that period after the rebellion where things were good. They were working together, sharing the fruits of their labor.
No more Mr. Jones cracking his whip.
Right, they were in control. But then it all went wrong.
It's like that saying, power corrupts.
And absolute power corrupts, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's really what Orwell is showing us, right?
I think so. It's not enough just to change the leadership, to kick out the old
You
boss.
have to change the system itself.
Exactly. Otherwise, you just end up with the same problems, just with different faces.
And it's hard not to see the parallels to real-world history here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people see Animal Farm as an allegory for the Russian Revolution.
Ah, right, with the animals representing different figures and factions.
Yeah, like Old Major, with his big ideas about animalism.
He's kind of like Karl Marx or Lenin, right? The thinkers behind the revolution.
Yeah, they offer this vision of a utopia, a worker's paradise. But then you have Snowball, all gung-ho about progress and modernization.
He's kind of like Trotsky, right?
Yeah.
Pushing for rapid change, but ultimately losing out
The
to...
more cunning Napoleon.
Yeah. And I mean, come on, Napoleon's a dead ringer for Stalin, right?
Oh, totally. The way he consolidates power, gets rid of his opponents.
Uses those dogs to enforce his rule.
Yeah, it's like Stalin's secret police.
And then, of course, there's the propaganda. Squealer twisting the truth, rewriting history.
To control the narrative.
Just like what happened in the Soviet Union.
It's amazing how Orwell, writing that in the 40s, was able to capture so much of what would happen.
Right? Like he could see it coming.
It's a warning, a cautionary tale about the dangers of totalitarianism.
And it's not just about the Soviet Union, right? These themes are still relevant today.
Oh, absolutely. We see it all the time. The abuse of power, the manipulation, the erosion of truth.
It's like history keeps repeating itself.
That's why Animal Farm is so important. It's a reminder that we have to be vigilant. We have to speak out against injustice.
We can't just assume that things will get better on their own.
We have to fight for what we believe in.
And we have to be wary of those in power, especially those who claim to have all the answers.
Because as Animal Farm shows us, those who seek power are often the ones least fit to wield it.
It's a sobering thought, but an important one.
It is, but it's not all doom and gloom. I think Animal Farm also offers a message of hope.
That was so.
Because it shows us that we have the power to resist, to fight back against oppression.
It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can endure.
And that the dream of a better world is always worth fighting for.
Well said. That's a great note to end on.
It's been a pleasure talking about Animal Farm with you.
Likewise, it's such a rich and thought-provoking book.
And I'm sure our listeners will have plenty to discuss after hearing this deep dive.
Absolutely. So, thanks for joining us on The Study Shelf.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.